Hi everyone, happy Friday. I currently have a Leroy storming my desk. He just crawled all over the printer and who knows what settings he put on that. And now he's at the top of my desk at the very top looking smug. So don't know if he's going to randomly jump down in the middle of this, but hopefully I won't die or anything. So yeah, happy Friday. It is like 6 a.m. For the second night in a row, I'm starting to have the waking up early and not able to go back to sleep times, which is something I really don't need in my life right now. But that's okay, because this morning I got up and I wanted to go ahead and do some videos. I want to be around more in February than I was in January and even in December. And I'm hoping by being able to do a few videos this morning that I can go ahead and set up till the start of the week. You guys will actually get some videos from me. So I won't go into too much detail on anything since this is, I mostly want to focus on the books on a flip through Friday. Sorry, goodness, what is wrong with my voice this morning? Anyway, like I said, I'll talk about it in some of the other videos, but, the summary of this is I have some more videos planned, probably one over the weekend, one on Monday, and hopefully one next Wednesday. A color and chat may be part of those. I may do a vlog. I don't know yet. Probably won't get to all that today, but I can at least get the ball rolling. So, things are different. I don't know if they're necessarily great or better, but they're different, and I guess, like I said, I'm going to take advantage of a sudden want to get in here and actually record, and now that I have some free hours before work this morning, I can do so. There's a long story behind all that too. Anyway, so I wasn't planning on buying any new coloring books in January past, I think, the couple that I bought like during Christmas break, but I had got my Amazon affiliate funds, and when I got those I thought, okay, well, because they're for the channel, I'm going to actually use those to get a couple books I had an eye on. And this is all I bought I think for the month of January, which is highly unusual for me, but what we're probably going to start doing, unless I get a new one to add to my collection, is I'll probably just start going back through my collection at this point, and then if I have any old videos of those, I'll probably roll those off in favor of the new ones. So anyway, we've got four for you today. And let's go ahead and get started. The first one here is a fairly new one by Sunlife Drawing. It's new to me, but I mean, it's been out for maybe a month or so. This is Color by Number Art Animal Stencils. I really like their color by number books, and I don't have any other books that have the more like mosaic kind of patterns like these do, so I wanted one on its own. And I also like the fact that, oh well, they don't have black backgrounds, but would have been really, I was thinking they have some of them have black backgrounds, so that's cool too. I love black backgrounds on pictures. So this is a typical size coloring book, 8.5 by 11 size. It is kind of a matte finish on the book, which is a little different. Their other books kind of have a glossier finish, the ones that I have of theirs. Here's their 22 color palette. The cool thing is that their 22 color palette stays consistent in their books that use it, so they're always the same numbers. I like that. The consistent, organized person in me appreciates that. The ones they have that have like a 12 color palette also always stay the same, so I always think that's a nice touch. Here we go. And we just go ahead and get started. There's no title page, there's no copyright page, anything like that. We just get straight to the goods, which is the title page itself. Oh, no, I take that back. Okay, I see what they're doing. They put, this is a little different. So the title page, they went ahead and put that page in front right off the get-go when you open the book. And I guess they're kind of using that as their title page, which is very cool. All of their books are single Amazon printed paper, single-sided. They have black backings to them. So here's your copyright information, your social media and contact information down here. And then white and black backgrounds of the pictures. And then you have, there are 30 images in the book. They also have the color palette here. You could actually, which I've never done, and I don't know what, well, I would need to complete this picture before I do that. There's no reason to do that, and I'll explain why in a minute. My brain is not working this morning. It's one of the downsides of doing a video this early. So the palette's here, and what I was going to suggest is you could, go ahead and fill in which markers or pencils or whatever you're using, and then you could tear this page out. But you don't really need to do that, because for each image, on the opposite side, on the back of the other page, it shows you exactly which colors of those 22 colors that you're going to use, which I love. I love not having to flip back and forth. There's some gorgeous color by number books I love out there, but it drives me crazy when I have to flip back and forth on the palette. So this just makes things like infinitely easier. Now granted, if you're coloring on this page, it may make this a little hard to read, so in that case you may want to do what I suggested, but I've never had a problem reading which colors I need to use. So let's go ahead and get fully on with the book. Like I said, some of these are black backgrounds. I like the snails. Very cool. These do have kind of some of the shading with them, which is really nice on the images that don't have a black background. I know some of their mandala books have them. I know their Christmas mandala book had them, and like the shading, and I think it looks really nice. I've seen other people use their books that have a lot more in it, and I really dig it. So yeah, this is, like I said, kind of like their mosaic coloring books, in that they're just irregular pieces that you're filling in with the colors. And it gives you some really cool effects. He is eyeing that acorn like it is a prize. That's the way I look at a calendar when I'm looking at the Fridays. I do like the variety of animals in here. You have your cuddlies, like your squirrel here, and then your not so cuddlies, like your lizards and such. Oh, so this was a title page in a black background. Is that correct? Huh. Very nice. Is that a little bear in a honey pot? That's adorable. looks like a landscape picture with a bat. The numbers are very light on this one. I think it's on all the pages. Yep. So yeah, the numbers aren't as super easy to read on this as they are like their large print colored by numbers, which obviously makes sense. These are more of a faded gray, which is, again, really nice if you want to use like alcohol markers or pencils or something, but you don't like seeing the numbers when you're done. But this would make it probably difficult for me to do this without a really strong light, because my vision is crap. Well, we'll get there one of these days. In the meantime, enjoy this line. I'd be lying if I said you wouldn't like it. I don't know. Monkey. I'm seeing a downside to doing flip throughs this early. Lack of caffeine. The lack of caffeine and exhaustion, I think, is getting to me. We got a couple bunnies. I like this one with the little shooting star and everything. It's pretty. And what animal book of mine would be complete without a picture of a kitty? Y'all knew that was coming, right? Y'all can't be that surprised. The cats are rather confused right now, which is probably why Leroy is climbing all over my desk. Because A, I didn't get up and just feed them. And B, oh, it's so cute. Oh, what is that cat called? It's got the little tufts. I should Google that, and I'm lazy. So, anyway. People, big cat people will know what type of cat. Oh no, I think I have it, but I can't pronounce it, and I don't want to even try this morning. So, Caracal, Cacaral or something. No, Caracal. Jeez. Okay, thank you for choosing this book. Some more following information. They've got an Instagram and Facebook page. They also do have a YouTube channel where they do flip throughs of their books. That's a fairly recent creation, and so I would encourage you to go check that out. Also, if you're interested, they do have some trial pages from their other books. This is Animal Mosaic Colored by Numbers, which is a pretty cool book. Mosaic Mandala Color by Number. The black edition, their Mosaic books are actually a little smaller than the letter size books, so keep that in mind. This is from the World of Mice. This is a stained glass Color by Number. Animal Stencils Color by Number. Travel Mosaic. You've seen some of those books, because I have a number of those that I've flipped through before. Real big fan of Sunlife books. They're always a good laid-back go-to kind of book for me. So we have a new one I saw on Instagram, and I was curious about. This is from the I feel like the labeled artist for this book, oh there you go, is Belba family. So this is a color by number book. As you can see, it's Mystery Mosaics color by number book for adults. It's called Wow Cats, which is pretty much my reaction to any cat. So I feel the title is appropriate. We are going to adjust the lighting a little because we're getting that super shiny kickback on the cover, which is obviously a glossy cover. And on the back you do have your palette, and then it shows you a few of the examples. So this is kind of a, like I said, it's a mosaic color by number, so you're getting kind of like a pixelated kind of image when you're done. So sort of like when you diamond paint and stuff like that. This is, again, kind of roughly letter-sized book. You have a nameplate page. This is also, I believe, an Amazon printed book. Yes. You have a page describing the book. At this point, if you want to pause and read it, feel free. I'm not going to read all the way through it. You can color this in different ways, and like with any color by number book with like X's, or not X's, boxes, you can use X's instead of just coloring in the boxes for a little bit faster coloring experience. I've seen some people do that, and I think their pictures turn out pretty cool. I'll have to try that myself. There are 22 colors, and let's see, all pages are single-sided. They do have other color by number books with this type of layout. It says there's one titled Passion, one titled Dogs, Woman, Square Mandalas, and then Gallery, and of course more. I like the pattern on the back of this one. So their cats, they actually have their cats named on here and what type of cats they are, which I think is super cool. This is a cute touch. I really like when I find artists that aren't maybe real mainstream artists. Like there's coloring book artists, like there's such a thing as mainstream coloring book artists, but for those of you that color, you know there are, right? Like, I mean, and they're gorgeous books, and they have their own special touch to them, and I always like when I get into some of these unique artists that you don't see very much, and they have special touches in their books. So like, even if this is, you know, an Amazon printed book, like, because they all put their special unique kind of touch on it, and I really like this. Like, I don't know, I like the fact that they have names, and they also show what breed they are. So very cool. You can create your palette here. They do encourage you to remove this page to keep, which is really nice. Again, so this is gonna be a thing. Because just by the shading alone, and you can see it, you can kind of see what the image looks like, because there is some shading in the way they do the numbers, or the way the numbers are set up. You can kind of see it a little bit. But this is going to be interesting because the squares are so small. And I mean, but that's what you get. You get a coloring book this size. If you really want a good detailed image, your squares are going to have to be smaller like they are here, which is why they encouraged using X's instead of having to color all these little squares in, because it will go a lot faster. It's a lot easier on a page like this. Oh, you also have your palette there on the left, so that's really nice too. So it does look, for somebody who doesn't have the best eyesight, this looks a little bit challenging to me, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with a challenge every now and then. Oh, Leroy got tired of sitting on top of the desk, and now he's stepping all over my printer again. And here he comes. Hi, Leroy. He heard me specifically talking about cats and was like, who, me? And he sits right on the book. Look. The internet loves you, you goofy cave goblin. But they don't love just seeing your big fat butt. I guess he decided he was going to take a more direct approach to food. He is sitting here staring at me square in the face. Like, I've had it, woman. Let us be gone to the kitchen. Quick cuddle. And down you go. He will survive. As you could see by his spreading rotund behind on that camera, he is doing just fine for meals. So, this might be a little difficult to show just because it's a bunch of squares and numbers. Let me see what happens if I turn the light up. You can actually see it, I think, a little better. So you can see the image a little bit. It's not just completely pages of squares. In some of these. Others it might be a little harder. I was thinking if I had less light you could see it easier, but I don't know. It may not even make a difference. It probably doesn't make a difference. You would actually need to see me doing these to see the pictures. Let me see. I feel silly flipping through a book that you can't really see what it is. There's one. You can see a little bit of it. You spent 10 minutes flipping through a book that was nothing but squares. I couldn't see anything on the pages. But see, you can see these. Okay. You can see part of the image, at least. That one, you can see the eyes, but that's about as much. Anyway. The image itself is a mystery for sure, but I mean, this is one of those, I do know it's going to be a cat, so at least it's not that much a mystery to me. At least I'm not getting at the end of this and like, oh my goodness, it's a cat. And then the next page, oh look, it's another cat. No, they're all cats, and we all know you got cats in your coloring book. You are all right by me. There, you can kind of see that one. This is the first book I have by this artist group. Whichever it is. This is the first book I have of theirs, so... You can kind of see that one. Again, we're like, it's a bunch of squares, Michelle. I'm not seeing anything. It's like one of those weird pictures somebody gives you with a bunch of pixels or something. You gotta like squint and tilt your head a certain way, or stare at your nose for 5 seconds and stare back at the paper. It's kind of like that. And then you're like, I do see something. There we go. See that one too. Yeah. I don't know. The first page I do in here I might do just the X's and see where we get with that. That one looks like that's going to be a mostly white cat anyway. A lot of the squares are blank. So maybe that will be the first one I do. It'll feel a little less intimidating. Here's a little info on the artist. And I think that's it. Yep. So how many images were there? Hmm. 25. So pretty typical. 25-30 images is pretty typical for a book this size. So I was recording this and I had 4 books to review, and one of them is not labeled for adults, and I was going to be stubborn and include it, but by halfway through I was like, I don't really want to take the risk of this getting tagged and so on, so I'm going to put the name to that book in my links, so you can go check that out for yourself. And because I can't, like I said, I don't want to do an official flip through on here. What I may do here in the future is do like a specific like coloring book flip through that involves ones that are labeled for, you know, for kids or whatever, and then just go ahead and label that one and like cover all my bases in that video and just be done with it. So we're just going to edit that out. It stinks, but I'm still going to put the link to it in the description, just so you guys can kind of go take a look at it for yourselves. It's an adorable book, and it's called Yummy Puns by Jen Racine, and I'm a dork for puns, so I love the book. It's adorable. I think it's for everybody, but YouTube probably is going to disagree with me on that one. So anyway, we're just going to go ahead and get on to our latest edition from Coloring Heaven. I got y'all this one a little bit quicker. I think I received this last week or this week, so I am a little slower in getting these because these are based in the UK, I believe, so it takes a little longer to get to the US than you know, across the ocean, so to speak. It takes us a little longer to get them. This is their Dreamtime special, 40 designs by Hannah Carlson, which is pretty exciting. She is one of those, you know, mainstream artists I was talking about. And again, nothing wrong with that. She's got her own unique style. You're going to recognize it very easily in this. And I think this is going to be a pretty popular book of theirs. This is by Anthem Publishing. This is part of a monthly subscription I get it's like they call it basically a coloring magazine, and I get an issue each month. This is issue 58 if you go to their site. You can buy single issues, which I've done. It is a little more expensive for those not based in the UK, but if you want this one, I would suggest you go get it if it's not already sold out, because they do sell out of their single issues, especially on their really big hits. So I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty big hit for them. So you do get 40 images. What is with my lamp today? There we go. Much better. The paper is pretty good quality. I've only used markers on it so far, so I can't say 100% for sure. That is one of the things that I need to set a goal for, is trying some different things on this paper. But I think it's at least medium quality paper. So it's probably more. These are a little larger than an 8.5 by 11. By the way, they're a little bit longer. This gives you a little intro about Hannah Carlson over here. You have a color combination chart you can use. There's social media tags. And then we get started. So each image is single-sided, non-perforated pages. This is printed by Anthem Publishing. And you get her gorgeous images on here. And a lot of times with their pages, they may have they may be called something. If they're used by multiple artists, or multiple artists are in the edition, they may show you which artist did that image across from it. In this case, they just simply have the numbers because there's no description or anything needed for these. So let me see something real quick, because I'm not prepared in any way, shape, or form. One of the things that can be a little difficult with the Hannah Carlson books, and here's one of her books for example, is they are double-sided. This is Spirit Animals, by the way. So you can't just like go crazy with alcohol markers in here unless you're willing to sacrifice the image behind it. One of the great things about this, and one of the reasons I think this book will sell out quickly, is these are single-sided pages. So for all of us like alcohol marker lovers that really want to color some Hannah Carlson without having to print it on special paper or sacrifice the page behind it using alcohol markers, this is going to be a great way to do that. I just thought that, and I know I'm probably a little slow on the uptake on that one. Some of these look a little familiar from the books I've seen that I have and on her site, but some of these may actually be unique too. I don't 100% know for sure because I don't think I have all her books. I think I'm missing at least one, if not more. So, but they are still gorgeous images. Like I said, you get a very large picture on a one-sided page of, you know, good quality paper, and I've used alcohol markers on this paper and it is really nice for alcohol markers. It's like a smoother paper, so very exciting. I can't believe it took me so long to get there and realize this. I have seen, excuse me, with the Hannah Carlson books, I have seen some amazing shading done with this art. Like, I have seen people that will take colored pencils and spend hours and hours on it, and I so admire their focus and ability to do that, because the pictures they get done with, I'm just like, wow. Like, it's a level of detail that maybe one of these days I'll get to. But there are also people that do amazing things with watercolor with these pictures, and because watercolors actually work pretty well in her books without a lot of bleed through. So I will be curious. This might be the first real Hannah Carlson set of images I tackle, at least one of these, because I can tackle it with marker. The one weird kind of thing I have about the Coloring Heaven books, and you saw it on one of the pages there, when we get to another one I'll show it to you. Most of these are centered beautifully. Like I said, the images are nice and large and clear, and the balance of the page is spot on. Others, like this one, feels weird because there's a big chunk of white space up here and here. And I know it's because of the proportions of the image. They would have had to cut part of the image or done something to make it large enough to fill the page, but you would have had to take away some of this picture. So I know they're not trying to sacrifice like the art image to make it look perfect on the page. It's just the landscape of that particular picture. I get that, but it's still a little weird. So this might be one of those cases where I would want to put, but see, if you put a border all the way around, you lose some of the image yourself. See, it's a little cut off here too. Yeah, which is nice. You don't want to go all the way into the crease with a picture, so I'm okay with that. But you could use a really thin washi tape and maybe make a frame, and it would look a little more balanced. A lot of these that don't really have a frame like this one, again, they're centered great on these. They look really nice. But that's not unusual for the Coloring Heaven books. I've noticed in some of the others, you know, there'll be a couple images that maybe, this one's so cute. There'll be a couple images that maybe didn't quite fit the proportions of the page, so they look a little awkward. This one feels like, I feel like there should be something else up here, but this one's not as obvious. So that is one of the beefs I have with the Coloring Heaven books. It's not the artists themselves, it's the books. But again, I guess it's kind of, everybody has their own opinion on that. Would you rather them sacrifice a piece of the image to give you a full page? And it might sacrifice the quality of the image if they make it larger too. It really just depends on what type of, this is where it's going to get technical in terms of what type of file it is and how, you know, it was probably a hand-drawn image that was scanned in as a PDF or something. And again, I'm getting too technical into this. This is adorable. I really like this picture. That might be the one. But that I start with might be the one. Like, that's it. After I color this one, no more. That was my peak. Anyway, I'm getting way too into probably how they did this, so we're just going to leave that alone. Just for the, I guess for me, like I said, the reason I have an issue with it is just because I'm a subscriber, and it's a pretty substantial subscription. I wish some of the images weren't awkwardly placed on the page, but I think this Hannah's work, it's not as prominent in this one. Just the way her work is, it's not an issue as much in this book. So plus you get 40 images, which is also really nice. You're like, I tuned in to see some pretty pictures, not you talk about how they probably theoretically put this book together, Michelle. That's alright. Okay. Yeah. And then at the end, you usually get like a, you know, save kind of ad or something there on the back. And the covers are colorable. They're like a matte type of finish. So if you really wanted to color these, you could do that as well, which I think is really cool. Yeah, so there's that. In that book, I told you I can't flip through. We're gonna put this to the very end, and we're gonna try it. This is what the book looks like. I'm not gonna flip through it, but this is what the book looks like. So again, I'll put that in the description if you want to go take a little bit closer look at it. It is an absolutely adorable book. I love it. You will probably see a lot of completed images for this on like my Instagram and stuff, because these are not super complicated pictures. So we're gonna see if we can find a compromise here. So anyway, oh Lord, I've done one video, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I think I was going to knock out a bunch this morning? We all know how I am. Oh, there we go. So there you go. Like I said, I probably I have enough coloring books, and I've not been coloring very much lately. At this point, I I don't need to buy myself any new books. Like, let's just let my bank account kind of relax for a while. Um, so I hope you enjoyed this. I think I'm going to do a completed pages video next, and I will post that over the weekend. So, talk to you guys soon. Hope there'll be more videos, and bye for now.